Boom! Yes folks, Hume here again. In this video, we're going to talk about the COVID pack. Right? The COVID pack is my offering for the maths. Right? It is an ongoing project, which strangely enough was in train long before COVID. Right? These are videos that I would have been using with my own personal students for the last 2 to 3 years. Right? We have the face-to-face class and we have certain videos. And so, for example, if I did a video on significant figures, standard form, decimal places, anytime a student comes to me with problems on that, I would tell them, here now, go and watch the video. Right? So I didn't spend 54 minutes explaining those 3 topics to have to be doing that repeatedly. As soon as they come, go and watch the video. In other words, you now make 54 minutes and watch the video, and then you come back to me and we work questions and make mistakes and we learn and we do easy questions and we do hard questions and we go down the road and then get the understanding. Right? Of course, human beings being what human beings are. A significant portion of my students over the years, they just ignored it. Right? Because it was there. And they always felt that they could have come and asked me to explain it in class. And of course, when I stop explaining it in class, because the video there, and I don't want people wasting my time, then some of them they just never went. They just never paid the attention that they were supposed to have paid. And they would do exams and get very simple questions on significant figures and standard form and decimal places wrong. And I would just shake my head in amazement and frustration and move on with my life. Right? Right? So I'm giving you all of that just as a way of telling you what this thing is. Right? This is not me using Zoom or Microsoft or Edmodo or WhatsApp or any of the other video conferencing softwares out there to replicate the physical classroom experience in our online space. This is not that. This is me more than just taking a horse to water. This is me bringing water for the horse. Bringing water for the horse. But we're not begging the horse to drink, and we're not trying to force the horse to drink. It is up to the horse to drink. And that is a point that I would have made in much more detail in the 28-minute video that I did at the beginning of the web page, which you will see when you go onto the web page, right? So you'll go there and you'll see more detail about that. But I just want to make the point here again. If you come in here with the expectation that I will be explaining the same thing 5 and 6 and 7 times, then prepare to be disappointed. Right? The videos are there, well explained, right? Point by point, right? And if you really take your time and sit down and go through it, chances are you will understand what's going on, right? You mightn't always understand everything perfectly, but you will have enough that when you come back to me now and we start to do questions, I wouldn't feel as if I had to teach you this whole thing over from scratch. We could just start and move and progress. Right? The hard part, however, is you, the students, taking the time, eliminating the distractions, finding a quiet space, taking off your phone, separating yourself from all the things that could get in the way of your concentration, to give this thing your full attention, because that is what it needs. Right? A lot of people, what they do, they sign up for a class and they go to a class and they go to lessons and they convince themselves that that is all that is necessary. So as long as they're in a class, they can satisfy themselves that they're doing something, and maybe they satisfy the parents that are doing something. Right? But if you don't approach the thing with a certain level of seriousness, you will find yourself going to class after class after class, sometimes to teacher after teacher after teacher, and not getting the results that you need to get. right? So there are a lot of people out here right now. I know some of them personally. Some of them pass through me. Right? Who would be repeating maths and repeating maths and repeating maths, and the only ingredient missing is a certain level of seriousness and focus and dedication to the thing. It's not for lack of ability, not for lack of ability, right? Almost every single student, in fact, I'll go as far as to say as much as every single student that has come to me, they come with a certain level of ability that they don't even know that they have, right? But as I tell them all the time, if you have a piece of gold in the ground and you want to get it out of the ground to a place where you could use it, you have to do some work. You have to do some work. And it doesn't matter how much talent and how much ability you have to do work. Right? So my whole philosophy and my whole setup is built around that. And if you're not prepared to spend the time to do the work, then don't even bother. Don't even bother. Right? But again, I would have spent more time talking about that in the 28-minute video on the website. Alright? So this is me putting up the videos. You have the videos, it is yours to use. You could go anytime, for however long you want, as often as you want. You could rewind, you could start over, you could do questions while you're doing the videos. You could follow the question that are working in the example and work it yourself. You could pause the video, work it out, and then run the video and see if you get the same answer I get. There are so many things you could do, right? But you have to have the self-discipline to do it, right? And between the parents, who would be the one in the case of those school children, the parents, guardians, whatever, to impose that environment of self-discipline, to impose that disciplined environment where the child could learn, right? The parent has to do that. In the case of adults who doing the exam privately, well, then the onus is on you, right? At that stage, you're out there, you're an adult, you're working for your own money, whatever. You're not relying on a parent to impose discipline on you. You have to impose that on yourself, right? And that's the hard part. That is the hard part. The maths is not the hard part, you know. Believe it or not, the maths is not the hard part. The hard part is what you have to do to put yourself in a position where your mind could receive the maths and retain the maths. That is the hard part. And that is the part that only you, and I'm saying by you here, the parent, in the case of the children, and you yourself, in the case of the private student. That is the part that only you could solve. So I am doing my part, putting it out there for you in a nice, well-explained format, right? Creating an environment where we could interact with each other. So in the paid environment, you could interact, you could ask questions, you could interact with other students, you could interact with me directly, right? You could ask for something, you could make a request, right? And in that little environment now, there may be the occasion where I might have to explain something a little further, right? Given that the person would have made some kind of effort to understand it. That's part of it too, right? In that setup, they'll have their live session. So at some point, I'll set up a live YouTube session or a live session on Skype or a live session on Microsoft or whatever video platform it is, right? That's a secondary thing. We could deal with that. But the main thing is that you, the student, you, the parent, have to impose that environment of discipline to get the thing done. Right? I can't say this often enough. There is a certain level of discipline that is required where this matter is concerned. It is not an easy fly-by-night thing. You do it when you want, how you want. You go to class, you don't go to class. You pay attention, you don't pay attention. And then feel that you could scramble the weekend before the exam. Right? You stay up whole weekend. You don't get any sleep. You go in the exam and fool yourself. thinking that you're doing something. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. And I want to send a special message as well to people who are thinking of doing the exam in 2021 and even 2022. Private candidates in particular. Now is as good a time as any to get on board. Don't wait until October 2021 or November 2021 to realize, well, exam in 2022. Don't wait until August, September 2021 to register first and then you're scrambling looking for lessons. No, 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 no. As I tell people all the time, registering for an exam is not the same as preparing for an exam. Registration is different to your preparation. Your preparation ideally should start long before your registration. So the private candidates, this setup could be just right for you. Right? You have people working on shift and that kind of thing. So there are a lot of people out there for whom the physical class would be difficult even after we come out of this COVID scene and classes resume and all of that. You work in shift and the shift changing every week or the shift changing every fortnight. You're going to miss some classes. There's no question about that. Alright? So this setup is one where you have the videos at your disposal to use as and when you see fit to get the work done, but the onus is on you. The onus is on you. The onus is on you. Right? I cannot repeat that often enough. Alright? So, just by way of example, right? The whole setup as it presently stands is 19 hours of footage. Right? You have 8.5 hours of multiple choice footage alone. Right? You'll get more details about that in the video, the 28-minute video. Right? You have a little over 7 hours of algebra footage. Right? 7 hours of algebra footage. Right? So you could start now, go through different aspects of the algebra. Right? Put into fractions together, expansion, factorization, factorizing a quadratic, solving a quadratic equation, functions, completing the square, blah 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 blah, and have plenty more things to come still. Right? I still have a couple topics in the algebra to finish. I have other topics to do. We have past paper solutions for the Form 5s, right? And maybe some of the Form 4s as well. Right? And have other topics. We have Pythagoras theorem coming up. We have circle theorem coming up. We have other things, and there will be things that people will request in the paid setup that I will then pick up and do and say, all right, we're doing this. So, having said all of that, I want to invite you, the viewer, the listener, go and check it out on the website. The whole course outline is there. You'll see everything that is available right now. And in the cases where there's video footage, you will see how much minutes footage you have. Right? A lot of the videos also have exercises accompanying them. So I'll give you a video, for example, on let me see, factorizing a quadratic expression, and then I'll give you an exercise with 30 questions right there on the spot. Right? So if for some reason you don't have a textbook, you could get it. There are some videos where I still have to add the exercises, but that is part of my work that I have to do. Right? And most of the people who in school would have access to some kind of textbook. So you watch the video, you get the explanation, and then you go in your own textbook and work it out. Right? And you have the opportunity now to collaborate with other students in the setup. You have the opportunity to run it by me to make sure it's correct, etc., etc., etc. Right? And the exercises that I would have put up have answers, but you'll see that when I go inside. So that's basically it, that's basically it. There is nothing more really that I could say by way of trying to promote the thing. Right? I am going the extra distance to explain what it is, to explain what it is not. I'm even going as far as discouraging people from taking this thing up if you know you're not going to give it the correct attention. Right? Don't even bother, just do something else. But if you're ready and you're willing and you're able, in fact, I shouldn't even ask if you're able. You're able. You're able. Right? Everybody out here could do this maths, but your willingness is the problem, not the ability. The willingness is the problem. So let me restate that. Given that you're able, and I tell you that you're able, if you're willing and you're ready then let me do the thing. Right? There's a proverb that says, I can't remember right now who the proverb is attributed to, but it says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, if you're ready, look right here, right? So let me do the thing now. Check out the website and sign up if you're ready and you're willing, right? And we take this thing further. Whether you're in Form 4, whether you're in Form 5, whether you're a private student doing the exam in 2020 or 2021, possibly even beyond. All right? So take care, keep good, check it out, spread the word, and then we get the show on the road. Boom!